Hello, this is John from TheWhoopGroup with my second episode in my Warz First Impression series. Now in this video and the ones to follow, I'm going to be talking about some of the design decisions and gameplay aspects of Warz. Again, all of this is subject to change as the Warz is only currently in alpha. Now first I'm going to talk about some of the simple things that the Warz does right. For example, having to wait before you can log out. Now this is a really good feature because it means that people can't just leave as soon as they start getting shot, or if they have loads of zombies on them and they can't be bothered to get them off. Now this makes your actions a bit more important and unchangeable, and also removes a limit on a big frustration that lots of people can get. Now the timer for this is at the moment 10 seconds, which I think is a good length. It means that you can't really leave if you have zombies on you, and if you're being shot at, you can't just like duck behind something and then quickly leave, although you can kind of get away with it in some situations. Although it's not too long of a time that every time you leave you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna have to wait an extra 2 seconds. The second thing it does right is having a map when you spawn. I think that's really important, especially when playing with friends, because I don't want to waste like a long time trying to find an in-game map. I'm just going to be using an interactive map, and if everyone's using an interactive map, then there's no point for you not to start off with one. You may as well just give it to everyone. From my experience, the map is blurry. Quite a lot of the map is blurry. Now I'm not sure whether this is because that part of the map isn't in the alpha yet, or because there's a fog of war. If it is because the area isn't in, then I think having a fog of war on the map would be a good idea. For those of you who don't know what a fog of war is, basically it means that the area will be blurred or greyed out until you visit it. I think this is a really good compromise between having no map and having a completely filled in map, because you'll learn like the general locations to say like, oh, this town's like in the very far left, but you won't be able to see them perfectly clear and like what's contained in them until you've already gone to them, and that also adds like another form of progression to the game. Maybe you could also loot other people's maps, and then that would show you the areas that they've been to as well. Another new thing in the Warz compared to DayZ is the revive mechanic. Now if you make a normal character instead of a hardcore character and it dies, you have to wait an hour, but then you can revive your character. Now you'll still lose all your items and such, but you keep your stats, so it will keep track of that character's game time and zombie kills and other things like that. Now lots of people find that really important and like to be able to boast about their stats and show their friends, and keeping one coherent character is really good for those kind of people. Now there's a mission system in the Warz and XP, which is not currently in the alpha, so it's unclear how the revive mechanic would work with the XP, but I'm guessing that you would keep your XP. Now the Warz also allows for multiple characters, which I think is a good idea, because it means that you can have, say, one character you only play with your friends with, and you all log off like in the same place at the same time, and then whenever you want to play you'll be in the same place with them, and then you can have like another character for just playing on your own and things like that. And it also means if you find some really good items when you're playing and you just kind of want to mess around a bit and not really do anything serious and not have to have the threat of losing all your really high level loot, that you can make a new character and play like that. Now another thing that's new about the Warz is the global inventory, which basically allows you to put items from any of your characters and vice versa into it. Now this kind of rubs me the wrong way a bit. Now it isn't necessarily what it is, but what it is likely to inspire in other people. Now there are a couple of problems with this. One being it encourages people to hoard items and encourages them to do loot runs on low populated servers to get loads of loot, which they can use then, but they can also save it for later as well. Now this could also be done on a new character that they have made, so that there is no risk of them losing anything valuable at all. They can just join a low populated server with a new character, get a load of good stuff, and then put in their global inventory for later. This also means that there'd be like no risk of running out of bandages, food or water, because you can always make a new character, grab some food, drink water, blah blah blah, put that into your global inventory, and then put that into your character that's low on it, and that's kind of taken away from the whole survival aspect of the game. Now, another problem with that is that you can swap loot at any time, so there's no need to carry around too much of anything. There's no need to carry around all the ammo you find, all the food you find, all the drink you find, because you can have it all in your global inventory, and then when you need that specific thing, you can swap it in and then use it. So that means that people you kill will likely have quite low amounts of loot, and it takes away the risk, because you can put a lot of all your extra stuff into the global inventory. Another problem is that it means if you're a low level player with just melee weapons, or melee weapons, you are still likely to be killed by a person with a gun. Now, even though you're not a large threat to them, it's because they can take your melee weapon and store it, or your food or your drink, and store it later in case they die, so when they start a new character they can have those things. Although there are some good things to have in the global inventory. A good thing is that if you want to help out a friend by giving him a weapon or some other supplies, you won't have to lug it around with you, taking up valuable space. You can just put it in your global inventory. It also means that people who play the game for a lot will have an easier time starting off, and you won't have to go through the process of finding a weapon with only your trusty flashlight by your side. So to conclude on that point, I think it'd be better if they greatly limited global inventory to say like 5 slots, or removed it altogether, as I think being able to have multiple characters gives you some of the same options without being as exploitative. Another problem with the current Warz alpha is both the power and lack of power of the flashlight. Now, you start off with a flashlight, and for some reason you can kill a player with your flashlight in a couple of hits, especially to the back and back of the head. It's so ridiculously quick, whereas if you're trying to take down a zombie, it takes literally 30 hits, and if you're coming up against multiple zombies, it's basically useless. This may be a way for them to entice you to buy their melee weapons with real money, so it's easier for you to start out, but from my experience, even the actual proper melee or melee weapons such as the hammer and spike bat and other things still take a lot of hits to kill a zombie. This just means that you can, from the get-go, easily kill another player, which doesn't really help teamwork, and it's making lots of people just going on murder sprees as soon as they spawn, instead of having to help each other. I mean, the game at the moment may as well be called Flashlight Warfare Z, so hopefully that gets changed in the future. Now, that kind of brings me into my next point about the marketplace. Now, the Warz has a marketplace where some items can be bought for real money, aka GC, and some items can be bought with in-game dollars that you can find from killing zombies and around the world. To be honest, I don't really like this. I think it greatly detracts from the game and the purpose. Even though you can only buy melee weapons, supplies, ammo, but even those I find really annoying. It again removes the need to have food, drink or bandages, because you can always buy some if you desperately need it for in-game currency or real money. Another problem is someone who buys any of the cosmetic items, which you can buy with those things, means that you're a much larger target, and may lead to lots of people going around in big groups player killing to get these cosmetic items, because some people have bought them for in-game currency or real money. They have like a real money value almost, and people might start selling them like outside of the game, and I think that could kind of ruin people working together. Another problem is the lack of voice over communication right off the bat. Now, in the Warz there is an alternative in the form of the radio, which is a physical in-game item which you need to find. But until you get that, having to type a message to someone has quite a few problems. Now, one being that it's very inconvenient, especially if you have like a horde of zombies running behind your back. You don't really have time to stop and write out, "Hi, I'm friendly, please don't shoot me," in the, "Oh, wait, the zombies have killed me." Or if you're taking fire from someone, or just say you've just run around a corner and come face to face with them, like you don't really have time to type out a message. Another problem is if you do meet someone and you're having to type to them, that leaves you very vulnerable to being attacked by them. So you can do the old bait and switch, say like, "How are you?" or something, or ask someone a question in the message in the proximity message, and then when they try and answer, you can just go round behind them and kill them one hit with a flashlight, which has happened to me, and I've seen it happen to a lot of people as well. Also, because it's a message, it's quite mechanical and not very organic, and it makes people feel a lot less guilty for killing you, for typing instead of talking to them, which may seem a bit like out there, but it does. Also, VON creates a lot of the fun and interesting situations that you find yourself in DayZ, and it's one of the reasons why it's so fun and you can have all these weird experiences, is because everyone can talk, and it's about interacting with other humans in the game. Now, another good thing that the Warz does very well is loading in. It's very snappy, very quick, and since the update, which came out a couple of days ago, it's very easy to get in via the quick match. However, the server browser is a bit messed up at the moment. However, I'm sure that'll be fixed before the launch. So, just to conclude, the game is still in alpha, so hopefully some things will be sorted out or changed. If you have any opinions or thoughts on the Warz, feel free to comment and please subscribe. This has been Jung from the Whoop Group, and thanks for listening.